Do you want to learn how to sing Never Enough from The Greatest Showman? Are you working on getting your high notes powerful but more controlled? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through my practice session for songs as difficult as this one. For me, for me, for me, all the shine of 1,000 spotlights, and she comes right back down to that placement. It's a little bit more robust than the first time she sings that line, but there is a distinction between when she hits that high notes and she comes back in. It's very much an expression of her control over her instrument. My name is Keba, and I'm a professional singer, songwriter, and performing artist. And today I'm going to show you line by line how to achieve an emotional, powerful, and healthy vocal for Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. Now, before we get started, you're going to need a couple things. A notebook, a pencil, a device to record yourself on, so it could be a cell phone, and you can choose video or just audio like a voice memo, but I do recommend video because you want to make sure that you're not doing any funky things with your face or your neck, and there's not too much tension happening and any overcompensation happening as you're singing. So video is most ideal. You're also going to need something to play the music on, and you're also going to need the lyrics. So I'm going to be using the lyric video from The Greatest Showman, so I'm getting a 2-in-1. And of course, you want to have a glass of water. We want to stay hydrated when we're going to be practicing for this long, and we want to make sure that our voice stays healthy as we're learning to hit these notes. Now, something else that you absolutely need to do before you attempt the vocals in this video is warm up. That is extremely important, and anytime you're doing a song as big and difficult as this one, you want to make sure that your voice is fully warmed up and ready to take on the challenge. If you are interested in a warm-up specifically for this song, I'd be happy to do a video about it, so just let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd be interested in. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the song now. Now, in the movie, the character Jenny Lind is played by Rebecca Ferguson, but the person who sings the song is not actually Rebecca Ferguson, it is Loren Allred, and she does an amazing job with the interpretation of this song. Now, today, as I go line by line, I'm going to show you how to achieve a similar vocal to her, not in terms of tone, because you have your own vocal quality, which we want to maintain, but in terms of stylistic notation. So we're going to be taking note of things like timing, breath, the use of dynamics, and a lot more details which help you to deliver a vocal that has the same emotional impact as her without trying to sound exactly like she does. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this practice session. Now, what I'm taking note of here first are her dynamics. So she's starting at a piano, if not pianissimo, which means that she's starting really softly as she possibly can. It's almost like she's trying to make her voice disappear on some notes. And it makes me think about, in the studio, the proximity effect, which when you're working with a microphone, a lot of the times you can get really close, like this. But it uses the breath to create an emotional effect as well. So let me demonstrate. I'm trying to hold my breath. And there's almost an H before the TH in the word breath. Breath. So that's what would typically translate as the proximity effect when you're this close to the microphone. Let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. So again, we see that she's disappearing the voice almost on the word let. Can't let. And she's using the vibrato also to have that wavy effect. Can't let this moment end. And the word end, we're hearing the release of her breath on the D. Because again, using the breath can create a very emotional impact. Now, when we're singing this softly, it's important to still support and to still use air. Sometimes it takes even more because you're having to use a lot of control to place these notes exactly where you want them at the lowest volume possible. Let's keep going. Set off a dream, getting louder now. Can you hear it echoing? Okay, this is one of my favorite sections of the song because stylistically it's so yummy, and I'll tell you why. I'm writing down notes here of which words to take cues on. So the letter M in the words dream and me are very important. Usually we sing on vowels, not consonants, but M is one of the few consonants that we can sing on, and she is milking it. So you set off a dream in me, getting loud now. And what I love about the word louder is that she actually gets softer. And she's doing, again, a piano, pianissimo, back to piano. You set off a dream in me, getting loud now. Can you hear it echoing? She's approaching the ing like it starts from nothing and almost creating an echo with her voice. Echoing. Wow. Let's keep going. In this part, we want to make sure that we have a really high palate. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that the back of your mouth feels really nice and open, as if you're about to yawn. Because that's going to create a nice loft, which she comes in with to distinguish this section of the song stylistically. Take my hand. Will you share this with me? And it's going to allow you to have a little more control as you create a very breathy vocal. Will you share this with me? 'Cause darling, without you. And she goes back into this warm middle register for those last few notes. All the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. Wow, so in this part, what I'm taking note of is her placement. There is a very long phrase in here. All the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough. And so you want to make sure that you have enough air to make it through that phrase, because she's changing her placement every other note pretty much. And it's amazing. So let's see if we can achieve a similar thing. The first thing that I notice is her placement of the word all. It's very different from anything that she's done previously in the song. All the shine, all the shine, all the shine of 1,000 spotlights. It's a much more forward sound because she's no longer playing with that breathiness, at least not in this first line. All the shine of 1,000 spotlights. And the words of ah are very small, they're very quick, but they're very important, because when we have a phrase that has quick moving consonants or quick moving words like that, if we get tripped up on those, it can really affect our ability to sustain the line of breath throughout that phrase and the next phrase. So we always want to move through those phrases consciously. all the shine of 1,000 spotlights. And it also allows you to really give thousand, that accent that she does. All the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky. And she does something really cool here, which I'm going to attempt, which is there's a little bit of a fry on the words night sky. Night sky, right? We get a little bit of a pop interpretation there. All the stars we steal from the night sky will never be. And this is where breath is really important, because we're about to change placement a lot, going from all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough. And we have to have enough air to get to the end of that phrase and do all the stylistic things. Let's try that. All the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough. Never be enough. Woo! I think we might have done it, but I'll see when I review my recording. Okay, so let's keep moving. Wow. So, I feel like I'm saying wow a lot, but because she does such an amazing job. Okay, fangirling. I'm going to take it down a notch. So the next thing that I'm taking note of here is the word towers of gold. She really puts an accent on towers, and even the placement is a little bit more belty than we got at the beginning of all the stars or all the shine, towers of gold, right? So she's mixing in a little bit more chest in her belt. Towers of gold are still too little. The next thing that I want to observe is the word hands. She does a little bit of a cry with her voice. These hands, these hands, these hands could hold the world, but it all. And I think she does it on hold too. These hands could hold the world, but it all. And a nice breath after it all, which is very different from that long phrase that we heard in the section before, right? All the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough. Well, here she's doing, these hands could hold the world, but it all. Right? Nice big breath there. I'm exaggerating. You don't have to make it sound so loud, but make sure that you breathe there, because it's going to really allow you to come in with those next few lines with a lot more power. Let's see. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough. And what I'm noticing, that I'm not sure if I quite got it here, but the vowel changes. When she does enough the first time, it's a much wider vowel than the second time, where it's a much longer, deeper vowel. And while, of course, that also gives us a little bit more control for the super sustained note, the super sustained enough, it also just creates, again, stylistic emotional impact. So let's try that. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough. Never be enough for me. Okay, let's keep going. The songwriting here is amazing, because this songwriter knows that although we don't sing on consonants, we do phonate on M's, as in Mary, and N's, as in Nancy. And you can really use these consonants to achieve a really nice laser pitch and placement as you're starting each of these phrases. And if I were to make that warm-up video, one of the exercises that I would actually do is nee, 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 because it helps you lock in that pitch and that placement. And that's exactly what she's doing at the beginning of each never. Never, never. And then the next really amazing thing is that big round cavity that she has for the to resonate. Never, never. And the use of her breath at the very end to release the note. That's something a lot of really great singers do, is that when they finish singing a phrase, they do not hold on to the air. They release it and it helps them to reset for the next note. Never, never, never for me, for me, never enough. We're not there yet. Okay, so we're about to get into the real money notes here, and you want to take note of range here. You want to be cognizant of what you're actually hitting and where that sits in your register, where that sits for you in your head voice or in your mixed belt. Because what we want to do here is approach it with a mixed belt, but have enough depth and support to give it that really powerful sound, right? So this is an E flat. And again, the use of the consonants N in never and N in enough, and the way the song is written melodically really works for singers. Like, this song is a singer's dream. Never enough! And then the next thing she does is really emphasize that release. It's a stylistic choice where she's releasing the breath in such a way that it almost has a little pitch to it. And we hear that little thing at the end. That's like a, but it's not quite that. I don't usually do that with my voice, so let's see if I can try to achieve it. Never enough, never enough, never enough for me, for me. So right here, she changes the vowel on me, for me, and she does it again, that release, for me, for me, for me. Spotlights, and she comes right back down to that placement. It's a little bit more robust than the first time she sings that line, but there is a distinction between when she hits that high notes and she comes back in. It's very much an expression of her control over her instrument. So if you're getting value from this video so far, make sure to hit that like button and let me know. We're gonna keep going. Okay, so right here, we're noticing she's giving us even more, right? She's really creating that build up. And I actually want to come at it from the phrase before so we can get that connection. Never enough for me, for me, for me. All the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough. Woo! And we want to control our vibrato here. She does a great job of that as well. Being conscious of when to have straight tone and when to let that vibrato ring in. I tend to notice that she is using more straight tone. Let's try that again. Never enough for me, for me, for me. All the shine of 1,000 spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be enough, never be enough. part, we're noticing that she's doing the Towers of Gold section differently than she did it the first time around. She's adding an ad-lib, which is really cool, and you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up to get through that ad-lib powerfully and deliver it emotionally. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll... And I want to add in that cry on the H that she does again. These hands could hold the world, but it'll... Breath. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough. Never be enough. And that's an ad-lib that she does on the live version with David Foster. Loren Allred does that amazing ad-lib, and I just wanted to throw it in there, but you can check out that video if you want to see her do that as well. Let's keep going. Okay. For me! And she's continuing to do this really stylistic release, which is something that I myself want to continue to work on because it makes it that much more emotional. For me, never, 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 never. And what's difficult about getting the release with that breath and a little bit of pitch is that you want to end on just the right pitch. You don't want to be all over the place. She does an amazing job of that as well. I get chills every time. It's almost as if she's singing a lead vocal and a background vocal at the same time. Again, it's going to require us to come in strong with our breath and our placement. And again, using the word never and the word enough, the ends in those words to set ourselves up. Never enough, never. And it's up to you if you want to take a really quick breath between the never enough and the words never, or if you want to just go straight through never enough, never. But I do recommend taking a really quick breath because it's going to allow you to reset and get that placement every time. Never enough for me, for me. So what we notice here is the change of the vowel. For me, for me. Again, giving us that depth and that length in the vowel on the second me, which really sets us up for the big note that comes at the end. For me, for me, for me. Let's see if we can get that release even more emphasized. Never enough, never enough for me, for me, for me. I want even more emphasis. Never enough for me, for me, for me. Me, you want to get down as tiny as you can, which is difficult because you're coming from a very big place. And let's say we're at 100 when we get there. If we can at least come down to a 20 or a 15, even a 10, it would be wonderful. But you want to get as close to 0 as you can. For me. Go back to the E vowel on the word me. So that is my line-by-line analysis of how to sing Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. I hope that you found it helpful. I know that I'm going to keep working on certain things this week. I've written down that I want to keep working on my mix, getting it into my body just a little bit more so that I can have a little bit more grounding on those high notes. I want to continue to work on my vowels and achieving the shape that I really want. I want to keep working on my release so I can consistently get it where I want it. And also my vibrato, so it's not all over the place. To see an update with my completed rendition of Never Enough, go ahead and click this link right here. And for more videos just like this, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.